Welcome to episode 13 of my Citroen Relay van build. I hope 13 doesn't mean unlucky, because in this episode I'm breaking out my old builder's trestles and it's roof rack time. My roof rack is going to be like a lot of other people's. I have decided to use 80/20. I'm using 40/40 section because I think that I want something that I'm absolutely confident is going to be strong up there. I'm no engineer, but I imagine that the forces, if you're driving along the motorway at a reasonable speed, are fairly considerable. So I thought better to go with 40/40 than 30/30. It's also helpful for me in that that little bit of extra height above the roof is probably going to be beneficial in terms of clearance over the fan that you saw me install in an earlier episode. So the first thing is to attach some brackets to the little studs that I'm sure almost everybody who has owned a Stellantis van will be familiar with. So these are the little studs that I was talking about. They look like a little mushroom, and the brackets I'm using are simply from, I can't even remember now whether they're from eBay or from Amazon, and they hook over those. I liked the design of these ones because what you can see is that there's a slot here which allows you to slide that piece over and it sits, and some of the ones I've seen will then bear all of the weight on that little stud, but this one clips over the top of the little stud, which means that it's actually resting on this part of the van, which I think will be stronger. It's also got these little rubber pieces to protect the paintwork, but they've just fallen off. And then bolts go through here, bolts come up through here, then nuts on top with the mounting piece on top of it, and then you can mount on top of that with your 80/20. So tried and tested method. They're stainless steel brackets. I have a feeling it was about £100 for the 10 that I needed. So here is the bracket assembled over the top of that stud, and then as the nuts are tightened down, this piece will be pulled up and it will then exert clamping force on that stud, and it will push down these pieces onto the part of the van that they're resting on. So I'm going to pop a washer, a lock washer and a nut on top of there. When it comes to the absolute final fitment, I'll probably put some thread lock on there as well. And there it is, all tightened up. One of the things I didn't mention is that it's quite helpful in that the bolts are a coach bolt style bolt, so they've got a square, don't know if it's going to focus on there, but it's got a square end to it and it goes into a square hole, so there's no need to try and get a super thin spanner underneath here. You just tighten down on these and it pulls it all up, and that is now rock solid on the van. So I shall trundle off and do another 9 of those. Okay, so I have the 10 brackets on now, and I now need to attempt to fit this extremely long length of 40/40 extrusion. I ordered for 4.4 metre lengths from KJN, because my usual supplier, Tedis, will only do a 1.98 metre length, and I didn't want to have to join pieces. So what I'm going to be doing is putting a bolt up through each one of these holes, loosely attaching a T-nut to it, and then I will attempt to slide the piece of extrusion along those bolts. And it's on. I had a bit of help from my son, thank you Zach, and essentially what we did was to slide it out beyond the end of the van, and then slide it onto each one of these, slide it past where it needed to go, and then we could slide this final one on. And now it's a case of taking my ratcheting spanner and doing up those bolts. Top tip, you won't get an Allen key in there. There's not enough room unless you basically cut one down. So hex head bolts are the way to go. The force required to close up a split washer or a lock washer on an M8 bolt is pretty considerable. So I am finding that I am not able to do that with the ratcheting spanner. I am having to go for the open end spanner, and they give it a fair amount of heft. And there it is. That is one side now fitted to the van. On to the other side. And that is the second roof bar in. What I am just doing now is measuring across the two pieces. And from what I've measured, I think it's about spot on to what's going to be really helpful. Let me show you. So this is taking a measurement from the far side of the far bar to the near side of this bar. So the gap between the two inside faces is actually 4 centimeters, 40 millimeters less than that, which takes it to 145.5 centimeters. 145 centimeters is pretty much perfect. My 147 centimeter panels won't sit between these bars, but then I didn't want them to anyway. They're going to sit just over the top of the bars. The next check I'm making is whether the effort I went to source a low profile fan has been worthwhile in the end. So what I've done is I've set up one of the bars here. It's just laying on the two end pieces, and it's then over the top of this low profile fan. Now it's rocking slightly, which means that it is actually touching the top of the fan. Well, you can see that there. I hold the camera a little closer. But the extent to which it is touching is very slight. And I think that the panel is going to clear that comfortably. I'm absolutely certain it will be okay if I have the panel positioned like this, because whilst the panel itself is slightly less deep than the bars are obviously 40 mil and the panel is about 32 mil, I think. The central section is only 3 mil because it's just the glass. So even if the framework is attached here, it will then come up and over the fan. So I'm now happy that that fan is going to work with panels spanning across it. The final check I want to make before I go ahead and order my solar panels is that the planning I've done in the roof does actually work, and that I can fit the air conditioner that I already have. So what I've done is I've placed my cross rails 670 mil apart, which is the distance between each panel, and then I have left myself this space here in the center. And now, the moment of truth, I will proceed to measure that space and see what I have. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. Let's see how far the bars are apart between the 4 panels. Well, I don't know if you'll see this tape. I'm being very careful doing it one-handed, but essentially that is 1 meter, which is going to be plenty to fit the 48 volt air conditioner in that I've got. But that is only one of 2 checks I've got to do. I've also got to make sure this gap is in the right place. Conveniently, you can see here that the bar for the roof rack, the seam on the van, and the opening on the door completely align, which very much helps from a measurement perspective. Right, so I know my seam and my opening on the outside of the van are in the same place, and I also happen to know that this inner part of the van is 6 centimeters further along. So where the 6 is there, that basically marks where the seam is on the outside. So from this point, if I track up, it takes me to about here on my roof. So that then is further 11.5 or 12 centimeters along. So 12 centimeters, well, there's a little bit, actually I can go inside there. So that gives me 4 back. So 8 centimeters from the start of the seam is where I can start putting a hole in from the air conditioner. And 8 centimeters from this seam, well, it couldn't really be much better, because the air conditioner has a section at the front, in front of the part that goes through the van, of 9 and a bit centimeters. So essentially it has to go at least, well, 10 centimeters further back from here. So that takes it straight into the section of the van where I can drop the hole in. So the air conditioner is going to fit basically perfectly. And that means I can go ahead and press the button and order my 4 solar panels. And my plan of having the low profile fan and therefore putting solar at the front and leaving a gap in the middle for the air conditioner well, it's going to work. So with all that measurement and all those numbers, I know the planning worked out and everything is going to fit. So I am now going to look to fit the crossbars to the lengthways bars, and I'm going to do that with trusty brackets. Again, I have the anti-camming lugs, which, because I'm doing 2 slots at 90 degrees, I'm going to have to remove these off of one of the faces on, well, it's going to be 12 brackets that I need to do. A bench-mounted sander has proved an absolute godsend when working with this 8020. You can see here that I am taking the nubs off pretty quickly. In fact, this was all filmed in real time and it took me, well, less than 30 seconds to deal with this one bracket. So that's all 12 of the brackets I needed to modify, all sorted in less than 5 minutes. And with those brackets modified, that's the first 3 rails now fitted. You can also see some other advantages of the system that I'm using with the bar on top of the longitudinal bar here. So I'm just showing here that I got this idea from Alex on Mispronounced Adventures, but rather than using the typical solar gland, I'm going to use one of these mini part or mini entry boxes, which I'll be able to have then one hole going down through the roof of the van, reduce the number of holes in the van, but get all the wires that I want to go down in one place. So that will probably incorporate not just the solar, but also some lighting, some cameras, including the fact that I intend to mount my rear view camera on this rear rail here, which means I don't need to mess around with the brake light and change that. I can just mount the camera on the back of this bar. It's quite a convenient spot to be able to do it, and that will then act as both a rear view camera and as a reversing camera. I do have a little bit of trimming to do on the bars, both the longitudinal ones and the crossbars. I mentioned that the crossbars I purchased, I think I mentioned the longitudinal bars were 4.4 meters. The crossbars I bought were 1.6 meters. But be careful taking my measurement if you're not using an H3 van, because well, what you can see here is I think that this is the point at which an H2 would stop, and then this additional section is the part that makes an H3 an H3, and you can see that that continues to curve in. So if you've got an H2, I think your crossbars are going to be more than 1.6 meters, which is what I used. But I'm not going to take the ends off of those, or indeed trim the longitudinal bar, until I have got the solar panels mounted and got the air conditioner in and I'm absolutely certain of the position. If I need to at the moment, I could open the gap up between the 2 sets of 2 panels and make up for any miscalculations on my measurements. And that's where I'll have to leave this one. Clearly there needs to be a further video on the roof rack, but that can't happen until the air conditioner is fitted and until I've got the solar panels, which I couldn't really order until I was certain about whether the size I had planned was going to fit in the way I intended it to. I'll also get that junction box fitted and potentially the reversing camera, so that I know exactly what wiring is running where and how I'm going to deal with it. I hope the video has been helpful. In particular, I hope it has built on the video I did on the low profile fan, in demonstrating how you can get more solar on your roof than you might think is possible if you go a different way to the much used Max Air fan. Anyway, I hope you have a great week and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.